I'm Manouk Akopyan. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to our partners, personal injury attorney Nelson Gevorkyan.
Rudy, we're here at the LA Boxing Gym in Los Angeles, California, your new home. We have Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson in the background. We can't see it, but your brother, Hernandez, the great legend, late legend, is there on the window as well.
I'd rather you call him Chicanito.
Chicanito, of course.
Good.
Of course. And how has training camp been for Junto Nakatani's upcoming return?
It's been great. Been working. Comes here to work all the time. He showed up in shape, and so it's easier to work with a fighter when he's ready. So it's been good.
He had a big year in 2024, was a finalist for the Fighter of the Year for Ring Magazine, and now he's obviously looking to build on that momentum here in 2025. What does a perfect 2025 look like for you guys?
Well, we do our job. We have to do our job. I mean, like to get to the bigger fights and stuff. So we get ready for the next fight, and we're always ready because at the end of the day, he's the one that trains, and he understands the importance of fights. So he trains to be the best that he could be. He's been doing this since he was 15 when I met him, and not much has changed. The only thing that has changed is that he's sitting down on his punches a little bit more, and he's stronger, and his work ethic has not changed.
Is that where the knockout power is being pushed in? Obviously, he's always had it, but it's coming a lot better now.
I think he's a little bit more confident. And again, he's 27 now. He's not 22. And the fact that he has his confidence in the work that he puts in, it's being shown.
Have you been seeing the power been carrying up with him as he moves up in weight?
Yes, but I also believe that it has to do with his age and his body, and he's a man, 27-year-old man, and he has the mindset, the strength, the conditioning, he's a very responsible fighter.
This upcoming fight, another title defense. What are you looking for?
I'm looking at it as a very difficult fight. I believe that we're going to see a better David Cuellar than we've ever seen, and that's the one that I worry more about because we have to figure out how to neutralize him first, and then how to beat him.
How do you prepare for someone like David's style?
I'm not preparing for David's style. I'm preparing to have the best Junto possible come fight time. Okay, my system is be ready. And when I say be ready, that means that the guy could be tall, could be short, could be a southpaw, could be right-handed. I mean, like, who's to say that a week from the fight, something happens, and now they're going to bring me a short southpaw. So what do? Do we take the fight, or do we fight,
right,
or not? And so, like I said, as long as I can get Junto to be ready come fight time, there is no excuses.
The discussions you're having, how long does he plan on staying at 118 pounds? He's obviously king at WBC with a title, but how long does he plan on staying at 118?
Well, when the promoter says, okay, we're going to move up, or if Junto, he'll talk to Junto first and say, okay, there's an opportunity at 122. Would you fight? Or do you want to take that fight? And that'll be a choice, and again, it's a teamwork. It's not just one person. It's like if opportunities come up, then you jump on it.
Anyone at 122 pounds excite you?
That's
names you might know?
A year ago, it made me nervous. I had my stomach was nervous. I was even a little bit scared, but
the monster scares some people.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's special. Naoya is a very special fighter. I've always believed, from the very first time I ever saw him, I thought that, that's the guy right there. He's a great fighter. And to this day, I put him above Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford plays like cat and mouse. But if Terrence Crawford would just focus on getting him out, he probably would get guys out quicker. But he chooses not to. And I say when he chooses not to, it's like I say, he plays like the cat and mouse. And now you know it doesn't do that. He's like, if he can get you out in 2 seconds, he'll knock you out in 2 seconds. He's not playing games.
We saw already a few days ago, 4th round knockout of Lee, made sure he wasn't playing with his food at that point. Just went in there, got the job done. There's obviously a lot of talk about what's next for Inoue, and it looks like he's going to fight David Picasso next. He wants to fight in September in Japan, wants to fight in December at a Riyadh season show. Do you think a fight between Junto and Inoue could take place this year? Could Junto move up to 122 for that fight in Japan in September?
His promoter said that Junto's not in their plans for 2025. He's already said it's on record, and but that's their lane. It's got nothing to do with our lane. We're in Junto Nakatani's lane, and Naoya Inoue is in his lane, and everybody else is in their own lane. And if eventually our roads cross, then we'll deal with it when that time comes. But for right now, I think it's already a great fight in the making, because it's a fight that not just the Japanese people are talking about, but there's a lot of other people in other parts of the world that believe that could be a great fight.
How do you see Junto winning that fight against Inoue?
I think it's a very, very difficult fight. I think that I would give the edge to Naoya Inoue, because he's a super bantamweight. He's already there, and we're the ones moving up. And out of respect, the guy's number one in the world, the best. We're trying to be where he's at, and so our job is to be ready and find a way to win. And when that time comes, then that's what we'll work on. We'll work on trying to win, because that's bottom line. That's what it is.
Do you think Junto could maybe force the issue by moving up to 122 in his next fight? That way, with Inoue running out of opponents, only Akhmadaliev is probably the only top guy left for him to beat in the division. Junto would force the issue for him to fight?
You can't force anybody to do something that they don't want to do. If he's already mentioned that he's fighting this guy. So, like I said, his promoter went on record and said that Junto Nakatani is not on the list. So, but he's in his lane, and they have every right to do what they want. At the end of the day, they've earned it, and I'm not looking at Naoya. Well, I'm gonna look at Naoya Inoue's fights, because I've always watched his fights. Anytime I've been able to watch it on TV, I'm watching, because I'm a fan. I really like him. I really like him as a fighter, and I think he's a great fighter, great for the sport. And I'm gonna watch his fights. But if the day ever comes that he's gonna be opposite corners, then we got a lot of work to do.
Do you see the scenario being Inoue just vacates the titles and Junto comes and picks up all those belts, kind of like he's doing with 118 once Inoue left the division? Similar blueprint?
Well, how can you deny it? How can you say, well, you were there, he was there, you didn't move up? All the excuses in the world. I would have really liked to have fight Naoya Inoue in December. But like I said, his promoter and his people have already come on record to say that Junto is not on the list. And since he's not on the list, that's okay. We continue to do what we're doing. I'm not fighting because Naoya Inoue. We're fighting because Junto Nakatani. And if that fight happens to happen, then I can assure you that I will have a lot of nights that I won't be sleeping comfortable. I know I'm gonna lose sleep over it.
Let's look at the other side of the coin. Bam Rodriguez, 115 pounds. If he wants to move up against Junto, is that the fight?
Robert Garcia, I'm gonna go on record and say easy fight. It's like Robert Garcia and his family, man. I have nothing but love for them. Man. They're great people, man. I've known Robert since he was a little kid, and his brother, and I've known him forever. And I'm always on Robert Garcia's corner. I always want his guys to win. I don't care who they fight. I'll be on the Robert Garcia side. But if the day ever comes that we're opposite corners, then it's never personal, never, because it's a business, and that's what happens. Sometimes brothers against brothers, and we're going to be in just different corners. But I asked Robert not too long ago. We had lunch together, his family and I, and I told Robert, if they ever fight, you and I have to have breakfast the day of the fight. And he goes, yeah. And Mikey Garcia, you're going to be in my corner, man. So, all right. So, and then Mikey, we're all laughing at the table. He goes, all right. And then, so that's the deal that we have, that if they should fight, then we're going to have breakfast that day in the morning.
I think we would all like to see that one filmed just to see what the conversation looks like. Obviously, that would be one hell of a fight. Just give me the name. Who's the harder fighter for Junto? Is it Bam or is it Inoue?
That's not fair. Because at the end of the day, you got the one that's a pound for pound, the best in the world. No, we ain't know. And
3 pound for pound top guys according to Ring Magazine.
Against who?
I'm saying Junto, Bam, and Inoue are all top 10 pound for pound fighters for Ring Magazine.
But Inoue is, I think he's like 2 steps ahead of all of us. And Bam, we don't know. If you ask who has Junto beat, and a lot of people won't know who he's beat. But the top guys know him, and I think that Bam did what he was supposed to do against the opponents that he had, and because like everything in life, you're up here today, but you got the ones up and coming, and Bam has been the up and coming guy all the time, and he's been very fortunate to be in the position that he's in today. I think he's a good fighter. I really believe that. Kind of like Oscar De La Hoya, a guy that I think is a piece of shit as a human being, but as a fighter, fucking one of the best ever. I consider Oscar De La Hoya the best boxing student ever of the sport, and I've gone on record and said it many times. I don't like him as a fucking human being. I think he's a shitty human being. But as a fighter, I mean, that guy went and got better. And fortunately, but also unfortunately, the guys that he fought, they were already here, and they were on their way out. And so he beat them, and he never got the credit that he deserved because, again, they weren't prime for prime, and I think that Bam is in that same situation where he's beating these guys, but they weren't younger. Now, had they been younger, how do you think those fights would have ended? We don't know.
Yeah, they've been on the other side of 30, especially with Estrada. There's obviously Chocolatito. He wants to fight at 118 pounds. Do you think that's a fight that's available for Junto this year, fighting Chocolatito?
I wouldn't turn it down. I would accept it without even thinking about it. I think like I said, but it's not gonna feel the same. 2 reasons. Number one, Chocolatito's not 22 years old. And second of all, I like Chocolatito. He's a really good, humble, hardworking fighter who has achieved more than anybody could ever have. And that's what's made him a great fighter, that he's always been ready. And he's a really hardworking guy. He works hard.
But is that the fight he should stay away from, Junto? Is that the one that sends him to retirement, you think?
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. And again, I don't. It's a business. But if that should happen, then I'm going to feel bad for Chocolatito. I don't think he stands a chance.
And again, Rudy, coming off of a great year yourself. You were a finalist for Trainer of the Year as well too for Ring Magazine. You got Anthony Olasquaga. He's going to be fighting as well in March. You're keeping busy UFC. We see you at the fights as a cut man.
I love the UFC.
How do you keep your life balanced and boxing
Easy.
over MMA? How did you be a lifetime boxing guy? How do you just also grow your love for MMA at the same time?
Well, MMA, well, the UFC is what boxing used to be back in the 70s. You have competition, you have people fighting, and I don't think that I've ever been to a UFC show in all the years that I've been with the company. I think I've been there since 2004 or 2005. I don't remember, but that's when I started with the UFC. And we're talking about 2025 up to today. I have not been to an event where I felt that I wasted my time. And I'm talking about I'm not talking about working that night. I'm talking about the show, watching the fights. There's been a few times where I'm so into the fight that I forget that I'm working in. Fights are so good that man, how can you not watch MMA? How can you not watch these fights, man? There's not a show that I've ever been to that I walked out of there feeling like, man, this show sucked. Never, ever. Always, man. Always like, oh, that was a great fight. Sometimes it could be the co-main event. Sometimes it could be the first fight of the night. I mean, if you look it up, there's been times that like the first couple of fights on the night got bonuses because they put on a great fight over the main cards. But I mean, it's a stacked card, and it's great to watch.